Just gonna set some music down, so just so I could have some white noise. Every time I'm animating, I always have to have some kind of like soft jazz music when I animate.
Yeah,
Yeah, it helps with the it helps me focus and it helps me like get into the vibe
indeed. I do the same thing too.
when you're like painting.
Yeah, sometimes I'll listen to YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, same. I'll sometimes be listening to like a podcast or just some random YouTube video that I find entertaining.
Indeed.
There we go. Okay. Oh, are there anything? Are there any interesting stories that came up when you were painting?
Well, first of all, this is the first time in years I actually started painting again.
Really?
So yeah, they turned out a lot better than I expected. Although I think you'll probably tell my understanding of color theory is kind of premature.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. I just went with bare basics.
Oh.
When it comes to like mixing colors and getting like proper dark pigments on it, you know, that's something I could improve on.
Mm.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah. The thing is, I tried water painting, and the thing is, every time, what's it called? Every time I try in water paint, it comes out like I have to use those. What's it called? What's it called? Those watercolor paint pencils. Be-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, watercolor pencils. That's what I was using most of the time.
And I'm really good at like line art when it comes to watercolor painting, but other than that, I don't really I'm not really that good other than like at line art. Unless it's like line art with watercolor painting, I'm not really that good at like to your advancement.
Oh, it takes practice,
Yeah,
believe
it
me.
definitely does. It's definitely not for beginners. And the thing is, like Bob Ross, you ever see Bob Ross
Oh
paint?
yes,
He makes it look so easy. He makes it look so easy.
I know.
And okay, I'm just trying to figure out where I'm at right now. Okay, so where I'm at right now, the our girl, she doesn't really have a name, or she doesn't really have a name, but it her whole encounter with the orcas are just kind of based off of various orca encounters marine biologists and random divers have had with orcas.
Oh really?
Yeah, and the thing is, orcas aren't really what's it called? They're not like dolphins. Dolphins,
They're not as friendly.
well, dolphins want to prefer to be left alone. Orcas will sometimes swim up to you if they're curious, if they do want to, but it's mostly on their time because
Yeah.
what's it called? Half the time, orcas they enjoy human interaction, but they mostly do it on their time because I'm trying to remember my orca facts because I sometimes info dump to my girlfriend Chloe about these things
Oh yeah.
all throughout like production when I wasn't animating. I'd just be talking about like random orca facts because I wanted the orcas to be like actually accurate to how they are in real life,
Yeah.
somewhat. Okay, is that right? I kind of want to do, what I kind of wanted to do with the orcas is have them be kind of exaggerate the size, just so they could, just so our main character would feel like she's in their territory.
Yeah.
And hey, is my pencil sharpener really that loud?
Not too bad.
Okay.
It actually sort of sounds like a car that's like on a, it's at the mechanics and it's just going really fast.
Oh, okay. Well, I've gone through 2 pencils today. So far I've gone through 2 pencils while animating today, and yeah, I've had this right here was the first pencil. The people on stream, if people ever watch this, I have this one tiny little pencil that was the first pencil, and that's like almost down to where the eraser is.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. And
So
it's
that's a lot of animating. You've been animating all day?
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You enjoy it. You enjoy. It's very mentally exhausting. Like as soon as I took a break, I felt like I ran a mile. But you enjoy it.
You almost feel dizzy?
No, not to that extent. If I ever felt dizzy when I was animating, I'd be kind of concerned.
Yeah.
But
tell me, what started you animating?
it was always a passion of mine when I first started. What's it called? When I got into high school, I didn't know what kind of career I wanted to pursue in. I thought it was going to be video game and coding, but then I tried it because I wanted to like make my own video games. But after taking a computer coding class in high school, I was just like, yeah, this is not for me, because learning to code, it might as well be trying to learn traditional Greek.
Oh really?
Yes, it's not as easy as it looks, because with all the numbers and all the and one simple key will be enough to screw up, and one simple mistake when you're coding a video game will be enough to glitch out the entire system. So yeah, it was not for me. But
Yeah,
then,
it's like an algebraic equation. Or
yeah,
math problem.
yeah. So then I took in, but I always had a passion for animation, and more specifically traditional hand-drawn animation, because I've been told, like by family members, I've been told by classmates, that I'm really good at drawing. And so like I told my teacher that I'd want to go to college to become an animator as soon as I graduated. And she asked, and what would be my plan? She asked what would be my plan after high school. I'd want to pursue a career in animation, but to do so, I'd have to go to CBC, or I'd have to go to college. So as soon as I graduated, I wanted to get a job so I could actually afford to go to college. But unfortunately, the pandemic hit, and it made employment a lot harder. And by the time I finally was able to land a job, it was at Burger King, and they offered to pay for my tuition. I tried going to Columbia Basin College, which has an art class but not an animation class. And when I tried going to Washington State University, they had an animation class, but it was expensive. Like, I mean, yeah, I was working full time at the time, but it would take a lot of stress to juggle both animation school and a full-time job at the same time. But luckily, I found Aaron Blaze's traditional animation courses. Yeah, they're online courses. They're at creatureartsteacher.com. Aaron Blaze, he's a former Disney animator. He worked on Mulan, Pocahontas, Beauty and the Beast. He also was the director for Disney's Brother Bear,
Nice.
and he was giving off these free, or not free, but like these reasonably priced online courses, and that's pretty much how I learned to animate.
Cool.
Yeah, and my parents got me, what's it called? Richard Williams Animator's Survival Kit book. Yeah. So yeah, it was a long journey. But the thing is about animation, when I first like opened up the book and I thought animation looks a lot harder than I was expecting, but once you actually read up about animation, once you actually put it into practice, you realize it's actually super easy. Yeah, like traditional animation, hand-drawn animation, the basic principle is all just timing and spacing, like trying to time out each individual keyframe of animation, space it out just to get the timing right, and it's pretty much the basic principle of those sticky note movies that you would make when you were in school.
Okay.
So it's the exact same principle, but on a lot, but with a much bigger budget in a way.
Yeah. So you don't use drawing tablets,
Like the digital ones?
like digital ones.
No, I don't. But I
Okay.
but basically what they are done is they're scanned into digital software where they'll be vectorized and colored.
Okay.
So they're so like in Disney's Princess and the Frog, the whole movie was traditionally animated, but it was all vectorized and colored digitally. Okay. Okay. I think that should be it for this single shot right here. Yeah, I don't. The thing is about this film, I wanted something. I kind of wanted something short and sweet that I could like make into an animated short. Originally, it was going to, what's it called? It was going to be a lot more intense with with our main character being like swept out to sea on a paddleboard, but I thought to myself, I don't want our first ever project to be something that intense.
Yeah. Just something a little more cute and spontaneous.
Yeah, something more relaxing.
You ever thought of doing like little series of cartoons?
I have before, but it'd be kind of hard to like do something like do like an animated series on YouTube while trying to maintain a full-time job.
Yeah.
And
Plus, of course, you just kept each episode really short.
yeah, because there are some people on TikTok, I mean not well on YouTube who have made who've made like animated shorts and they become like viral overnight, but those are only for people who have like already have a following.
Yeah.
Either that or it's just so new that it just takes the internet by storm. Like there are so many people on YouTube that like who just become viral out of nowhere, and it's just like, and even they're shocked about how they became so popular.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you don't go into it trying to be famous. You just do a thing and then it just catches on.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm not exactly trying to be famous, and frankly, I don't want to be famous.
No.
I don't want to be famous. You get enough privacy. People are always trying to ask you about your relationships and your. You have people coming up to you, recognizing you on the street when you're just trying to buy some milk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd much rather have this be like well known than to be like a celebrity overnight.
Yeah, you want to be seen at least.
No, that doesn't look right. Okay, now. There we go. Hands are always the most awkward thing to draw when you're like animating.
Oh yeah. Even with a still picture, it's difficult to do hands.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is about well, I tried like what's it called? I tried doing like other small projects like before. We had this idea for like a you asked before if I've ever wanted to do like an animated series. I have. It was going to be like a mini parody series where it would be like